Circuit has rubbed it in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan. And as we wait, poised for the start of what will hopefully be a thrilling qualifying, why don't you tell us, Anthony Davidson, about the things you can do to really get the most out of a car in a session like this?
Well, you're largely limited by the Parc Fermé regulations, of course. Back in the old days, pre-2004, you'd work on both the qualifying setup and a race setup over practice, and then swap them over after qualifying. So the race car was quite different at times to the qualifying car. Nowadays, though, you have to find a compromise that works for both. There are a few things that you can still adjust during the session, such as the differential, the brake bias, and the front wing angle, but that's about it. So it's more about optimizing what you do have and adapting your own style to suit the track conditions.
Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to another episode in my F1 2017 career mode here today around Azerbaijan. As you can see here now, going for our first laps in qualifying 1. I just want to say that sorry for the lack of videos last week. I was really busy and let me get my words out. And I was also I was really tired as well all week. I don't know why, I just wasn't getting a lot of sleep. So hopefully you'll understand, but you know, I'll try and get as many videos out this week as I can. Hopefully I'll be able to. And I just want to say I've been thinking about making this the last season of this career mode, simply because I'm not really enjoying it that much. And I've not really enjoyed this year's career mode, if I'm honest. Yes, there's been a lot more R&D and all that, but I've not really found any enjoyment from it, really. There's nothing in it that's made me want to go back to it. So if you want me to end it this season, then let me know in the comments below. But just so you know, the season afterwards, if there is a season 3, it might not be as good because I won't really want to do it, if that makes sense. So you know, it's completely up to you guys. You know, I will do it if you want me to do it, but you know, I'm just not really enjoying career mode on this year's game. Obviously, I'll do other games, like other older F1 games, if you really want me to. So that'll be a thing to do in the future, probably. When this game eventually, you know, dies out in the summer or in the spring or something, when information about the new game of this year comes out. So hopefully, you know, you guys can see where I'm coming from. But there'll still be content coming out on the channel. Like there'll still be some sub champ and co-op until that finishes, obviously. But going back to this video, then we managed to qualify in 5th place for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which isn't really surprising because it's a power track. But let's see what we can do for 5th place on the grid. I will now hand over to Anthony Crofty, David Croft, and Anthony Davidson to introduce you to the Grand Prix.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. And judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Raikkonen, Williams, and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Ocon, Hülkenberg, and Daniel Kvyat, Magnussen, Grosjean, Carlos Sainz, and Massa, Perez, Alonso, Jolyon Palmer, and Stoffel van Dorn, Wehrlein, and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Excellent job yesterday. We qualified above expectations. Let's go out there and put in a performance.
Well, according to Jeff, we qualified above expectations, so I'll try and keep those expectations at a high standard. But as you can see there, the race will end dry, so there will be some dry tyres coming out towards the end of the Grand Prix. But as you see, it starts on intermediate tyres, so this should be interesting to see what happens. But as we go to the 5 red lights now, we've got 3 lights, it's 4 lights, it's 5 lights. So that's how we go here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You've got off to a relatively good start. Verstappen, I think, is alongside me. He's got off to an amazing start. I mean, well, I say amazing. He's now overtaking me into the first corner, but luckily we managed to get past him there, and now we're going to go for a dive bomb down the inside of Raikkonen, but we've been squeezed by Verstappen, who I didn't think would still be there. For some reason he was still there. We've lost a bit of our front wing, but luckily that doesn't affect us during this Grand Prix, and our Raikkonen with a more power advantage apparently than the Mercedes engine car. I don't know how that happens, but we dive it down the inside then, just about make the corner, and that is us up now into 4th place in this Grand Prix, and the podium drivers are now, they're basically romping away with it, basically. And this, ladies and gentlemen, shows how bad the Renault power unit is up against the Mercedes. I mean, just look at that. He can't even overtake me until I get to the braking zone, where I brake early because I'm not really used to the conditions yet on lap 4. I mean, come on now. That's just ridiculous. But moving on to lap 5 of the Grand Prix, getting a tyre status update from Jeff because, as you can see, the rain is about to stop, or has stopped. And Verstappen again is trying to overtake me in a straight line. Isn't working. However, I've run a bit deep into the first corner. Is Verstappen going to come back and get me? No, he isn't. So unfortunately there, he's still trying to come past me, and I'm still getting a power tyre update from Jeff, because as you see the rain has definitely stopped now. And this time he's not even managed to get alongside me. I mean, that's just terrible from Renault and Red Bull. I mean, that's just awful. How do they expect to win anything in that? I mean, it's just awful. But here we are now, coming on to lap 8 of the Grand Prix. We've got Verstappen once again tucking into our slipstream, and now he's alongside us. I push him right up to the pit wall, and now we're going to go back onto the racing line. We're going to go around the outside, defending the position, and he's still there, but unfortunately I get better traction and I keep the place. Now moving later on into the lap, we now have an incident involving... Oh no, sorry. I forgot where I was in a minute. DRS is now enabled, because I don't know if you heard it in the background, but as soon as I went past the pit lane on the last lap, Jeff told me that it was the right time to come in for dry tyres and take off the intermediates. And it wasn't the best time to tell me because I'd already gone past the pit lane. So I really didn't appreciate that, Jeff. So I'm coming in now for a set of Super Softs, I think it is. It says they're used, and I had a look at how worn they were, and they were only about 6%, 5%, so they weren't really that worn. As you can see here in a minute, I think. Yeah, they're only about 6-7%, so I mean, not really that worn. But Verstappen actually carried on for the Grand Prix, so he might lose a lot of positions here if the track is still, well, if the track is dry enough for dry tyres and not dry enough for the intermediates. But unfortunately, he actually managed to keep the gap, which is very strange. I don't know how he managed to do that. But of course now, with DRS being enabled now, he's obviously going to have that, and now he's going to go down my outside around the first corner, which is unusual. He's now managed to get past us now. We've touched his sideboard a little bit there, and now we've managed to successfully defend that. I'm now onto the last lap of the Grand Prix. This should be rather interesting. We get a bit squirrely on the exit of the second corner there, and now he's got a good run with DRS, and now he's going to try and overtake us now. Here we are now going to go down into the third corner. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? He's going to go around the outside. We almost go into the wall. He almost hits the inside wall, actually. And we successfully defend. And now coming onto the back straight now, obviously this is the final part of the race. Are we going to keep on to this 4th position with Verstappen having DRS? Are we going to do it? I think we are. And 4th place is a very credible result.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. So, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day. The overtaking, looking after the tyres. But at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes then are on top today. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, Jolyon Palmer did a great job coming through the field today, so my vote goes to him.
And here's
So,
how things are shaping up.
I don't know what Anthony Davidson was smoking during that Grand Prix, but Jolyon Palmer has got driver of the day for some reason, and Raikkonen finished 10th, which is odd, because I don't know what happened to him. I don't know where my teammate is. He's obviously far down the grid, like he normally is. So the final grid then is Bottas wins. Is that his first Grand Prix of the season? Vettel, Hamilton, myself, Verstappen, Ocon did well then. Magnussen doing well as well to get points for the Haas. Grosjean there finishing down there, and there's Massa just finishing just ahead of Alonso, who got a time penalty for some reason. Van Dorn retired, so that's unfortunate for him. But you know, you can't really expect anything less from McLaren Honda. But yeah, that's the final race results then. I'm sorry there wasn't much action in the Grand Prix, but it's just because what happens really when it's power track and you're in a Mercedes powered car. It's just what happens really. So it's really unfortunate. But I hope you all enjoyed the race, because I did when I was driving it. When I eventually move on to the driver standings, I will let you know what they are. Whenever that is, I don't know when. There we go. So I've now moved above Daniel Ricciardo. We're all still 2 points separated from each other. I mean, that's just mental. Vettel has, I think, increased his lead over Hamilton. I can't quite remember what that is. And Bottas there, after struggling at the start of the season, he's now come back through to get third already. So he's done quite well there for himself. And Magnussen has now jumped above Sainz in the driver standings as well. And moving on to the constructors then, not much has changed there apart from the 19-point gap at the top between Ferrari and Mercedes. And Williams are kind of in a land of their own really, because I've got most of the points. So moving on now, I'm going to get a few upgrades for the car. As you can see here, we've got a first driver bonus, because obviously, I can't remember if I told you, but I think it was in the last Grand Prix, I became the first driver. So that helps. And I'm now going to go for the rear wing aero main plane, because I felt like the back end was very, very all over the place for the past few races since I've got the front end one. But if you did enjoy this episode, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time in Austria. Goodbye.